Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series. We've got about 150 episodes up now. Would like to get to 175, maybe 200 if I'm lucky. I don't know how many more episodes are out there that I can review for you, but we're going to continue the search. And then it's been decided we're going to cover Mid-South Wrestling episodically as we did with World Class. That's the next thing on the docket after we finish Superstars. But anyway, this particular edition is the February 21st edition, 1987. A couple of months or so, about a month and a half, away from WrestleMania 3, the Islanders, Ku and Tama, versus the Hart Foundation. Hart Foundation are not, I don't think, tag team champions quite yet, although they might be. I think actually they are at this point. If not, it's literally weeks away from happening. But I know they win in time for WrestleMania 3. So the Hart Foundation is certainly being positioned to be a major force. Danny Davis is there at ringside with them. And in referee looking tights. Anyway, good match here as the Islanders are quick paced. Odd to see the Islanders as baby faces. My main exposure to them in my run was as heels. Bret Hart starts off for his team, breaks the match down. Lots of double team maneuvers by the Harts, including a double DDT that looks pretty good for the time. Odd that they were allowed to use it with Jake Roberts being the master of the DDT, but they did. Cut off the ring by the Harts and some double team maneuvers. Harts get a victory relatively quickly. I think the match runs about 6.5 minutes or something like that. The Islanders are frustrated, as well they would be want to be. Some cheating to be had. You know, Roddy Piper sits in a empty arena talking about his career, talking about WrestleMania 7 being it for him and going home. They've already destroyed. I'm pretty sure they've done actually that was 86. So yes, they have done the destroy of Piper's Pit. They have not done the final Piper's Pit yet. That comes in the beginning of March. But and the My Way video, Frank Sinatra. If you've never seen the My Way Piper video, really cool thing for the time. Salvatore Bellomo and the King Harley Race up next. But Piper leaving, that was probably the third match on the card. I think what you would say is Hogan Andre drew him in. Savage Steamboat satisfied them, and Piper and Adonis made them emotional. That would be the way I would describe WrestleMania 3. All the other matches were pretty well garnished, but those three, pretty big deal. Anyway, there's hype for Harley Race and Junkyard Dog. That match goes about 4.5 minutes at WrestleMania 3. We don't know that at the time of this promo, obviously, so people might have been excited about that. Anyway, Heenan and Race saying that Dog must bow to him. Race pretty well dominant. Gets a hanging suplex there. 1, 2, 3, and crash we go. That's the victory. The Harts are, in fact, the tag team champions. I don't know why I had written that I wasn't sure if they were. Maybe because I didn't see them with the belts in the beginning of this particular broadcast. But they are the champions in the inset, talking about being the best tag team in the world here. Going into WrestleMania 3, also, managing to kind of be braggadocious about beating the Bulldogs. We go now to a vignette where the Bulldogs and Tito Santana sign for the WrestleMania 3 6-person tag, I believe. That's that, and then we move to an enhancement match. This time, Billy Jack Haynes, who would be with Hercules, Battle of the Full Nelson. Haynes been around. He came in 85, rather 45. I think 85. They're really short, less than a couple of months, and then comes back in 87. Isn't there that much longer? Haynes having some mental health and emotional issues and substance abuse issues, among other things. Never really got the due that he wants to have. There is Hercules in the back watching on a monitor, mocking Billy Jack Haynes during that process. The hype for that match, Power versus Power, was a pretty big deal at the time. Of course, Hercules lays open Billy Jack Haynes after the WrestleMania 3 match with a chain. Haynes, though, shows his power, snaps suplexes, gets him over, and the like, and pretty big thing. Haynes also with the full Nelson. If you've never seen, if you're interested in more Billy Jack Haynes at a different time in his career, much more bloated, wider, fatter, and the like, but really aggressive guy. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, checking him out in the in the USWA area, 1995 through 97, somewhere in that range, mid 90s. I think 95 sounds about right. But that era, you can find any of his USWA stuff. It's really enjoyable. Randy Savage up hyping the Steamboat match, and he's going to finish Steamboat once and for all, so he promises. Beefcake and Valentine wrestling here, former tag team champions, wrestling as a tag team for one of the final times as they split up in about a month. And Dream Team there alongside Dino Bravo, who is kind of the third member of the Dream Team, along with Luscious Johnny Valiant. Why they switched to Valiant for this team, I really don't know. Valentine hits a brutal hammer, chop, fist, whatever you want to call it, pretty aggressively. Beefcake in, still no real hints of him going babyface. I don't know how quickly the decision was, but anyway, figure four by Valentine. Valentine gets the victory. Then there's something on this show you've got to see if you've never seen it before. Iconic moment in wrestling. Jake Roberts with the snake pit. He's basically kind of making fun of the Honky Tonk Man a little bit. You know, kind of saying he can do more. Brings the snakes out for Honky to see. Jimmy Hart legit afraid of snakes, by the way. Honky Tonk Man not terribly thrilled with them. Wants to play the guitar. Wants to go at it. And then we see from behind, Honky Tonk Man. Boom! The guitar shot of all guitar shots nails Jake Roberts with the guitar in the head. Roberts legit knocked unconscious. I mean, he is out. And Jake Roberts, if you believe him, says that in fact the shot with the guitar injured his neck permanently. Honky says the guitar was so gimmicked that isn't possible. Don't know who to believe, but if you were a fan of Honky hitting people with the guitar, if you were a fan of the Honky Tonk Man at the time, if you were a fan of any of this, that's the time that's there. We do see a short WrestleMania 3 report with Gene Okerlund. Gene Okerlund in the control center that most of us as kids who grew up in the era would grow to know. And there are, I believe, 12 or I think it's 12 matches. I used to know them all by heart because I wore out my local copy of WrestleMania 3 and 4 as a kid. For some reason, the 2 years before I became a fan were the ones that fascinated me the most. Anyway, Can-Am Connection versus Orton and Morocco is announced. Butch Reed and Coco Ware. For some reason, I put Coco in the sixth man, but that's not the case. Butch Reed is Coco's opponent on this day. The Killer Bees and Volkov and the Sheik. Killer Bees versus the former tag team champions. That's kind of interesting. This is probably still, to this day, my favorite time in wrestling. 87 through 92 is my favorite time in the sport, period. Also, the hype for Billy Jack Haynes and Hercules. A big deal here in 1987, and we kind of close that out. Big King Kong Bundy, Big Bong Bundy? No, that'd be a different thing altogether. Anyway, Big King Kong Bundy and the Honky Tonk and the Hillbilly Jim here with Little People. Harley Race and the Junkyard Dog is a thing. WrestleMania 3, really at the time, a heck of a card. And, then they do a bunch of interviews. Baby faces, of course, supporting Hulk Hogan winning. Heels supporting Andre. Obviously, getting all the tail of the tape kind of introspection there. A big deal. Speaking of Coco Ware, who was mentioned in the WrestleMania report, Coco Ware is here in an enhancement match, one of the final of this particular week, and he faces a masked executioner type fellow, not to be confused with Playboy Buddy Rose, who's there in '85 for that role. Anyway, Coco, a couple of drop kicks, and the Brainbuster gets the victory. Frankie is shown at ringside. Beautiful Parrot, beautiful McCaw. But, we close the program with some hype for a Hulk Hogan and Billy Jack Haynes tag match upcoming at the house shows. That's a weird team to put Hogan with Haynes. I think it was Hogan and Haynes versus Race and Hercules or something like that. But I mean, that's a big deal in 1987. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.